Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of The Real Game. This is Coach's Call, kind of behind the scenes look at some things that we picked, that we talked about. We're just going to go straight into it. We got Donnie in Nashville. We got Tristan in the Carolinas. By the way, Tristan, how'd the Panthers do yesterday?
Don't fucking start with me.
Oh, okay, my bad. No, we're going to move on to college.
Hey, Tristan, I picked the Bucks.
Did you get your
What?
Did you get your jersey yet?
No.
Okay, it should be on the way. Hey, we got, I think, and please tell me if I'm wrong. These two bowl games we had, the TCU Michigan game and the Ohio State Georgia game, were two of the best playoff semifinal games I have seen in years, and I'm an old fucker. I thought they were just good ball games. From start to finish. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it quick because I know you guys are going to roll your eyes, but I'm going to pat myself on the back on the TCU thing. I talked about the only way Michigan had a shot was to run away with it early, keep TCU in the game, and just couldn't do it. It didn't matter. I mean, we knew the Big Ten is the Big Ten. Georgia couldn't have played a worse game, in my opinion. They couldn't have played a worse game at the worst time. TCU didn't play a very good game either. Old Duggan, whatever the redhead quarterback's name is, he was 9 for 50 or some shit. I mean, they didn't play well either, and they still beat Michigan, and Georgia at its worst was able to beat Ohio State. So to me, the Big Ten was what I thought they were, which was trash. Donnie?
No, I think first off, talking about the TCU Michigan game, Michigan came out of the gate and just ran the ball amazing right off the first two plays, and then went into hickory dickory. What's with the fucking trickery? And they just lost the team who they were. And the next thing you know, they're down 14-0, and you're just like, what are you doing? And then they had to claw back the rest of the game, and Harbaugh. That was probably Harbaugh's worst coaching job I've ever seen. And maybe he's not the one calling the plays, but he gave the ability for somebody to call those plays. On the other side, Ohio State came out and played very well. I mean, you look at the stat lines, and Bennett was 22 of 34 for 400 yards almost, 3 TDs. But he had a couple picks. It wasn't their best game, but their defense got gashed, which we haven't seen all year. And they weren't putting a lot of pressure on Stroud, and Stroud was playing out of his mind. Give that kid
best
credit.
Game of the year as far as I'm concerned for him.
He played, and when he needed to turn and make his legs work, he did. I had 10 units on Georgia minus 6.5. I didn't even mind losing it because it was such a good game. I did mind losing it, but watching the game and seeing that game go down, and I literally watched it till the very end, and I've been sick for a week, and I felt like crap. But I'm sitting there in my bed watching it on an iPad because I don't have a TV in my room, and screaming at the iPad, when it went wide left. So it was give Stroud credit. He played the best game of any player to date. For this season, and it's a shame that his efforts were not. But we're gonna have a Georgia versus TCU in the finals, and I do not expect it to be anywhere close to what either of these other two games were. I just don't. I don't.
What do you think, Tristan? I know you're kind of not anti-college, but you're more of a NFL guy. But you picked OSU to beat Georgia. Am I right?
Yeah. And I picked them to cover and win. But no, I'm a fan of football.
Right.
So I can appreciate good football. And the thing with that, so I watched the whole Michigan game. Michigan could never get under their feet. It was like they were running on a treadmill the whole game. They just could not get they couldn't get anywhere. If anything they did, TCU had an answer for it the whole fucking game. TCU couldn't have played better. Their game plan was perfect. Now as for the Ohio State game, I actually watched the second half, so I probably missed a better game there. But yeah, I had Ohio State winning and covering.
Yeah, I think so. As far as TCU, I think that's one of, and it wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was one of the worst games they've played in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think the quarterback was off. I think things were just off defensively. Yes. Now defense, they run the 3-3-5, and I love this. JJ McCarthy, you get to eat crow. I mean, he came out and said, "Oh, 3-3-5. We're gonna smash them. That defense is trash, and we're gonna bring the Big Ten and show to the Big 12 and smash and gash and all this other bullshit." Well, it just goes to show, you just don't run your fucking mouth if you're a fucking idiot little kid and he got what he deserved. The 3-3-5 is built on speed, and there's a thing that we used to say as coaches is speed kills and pressure bursts pipes. And what the 3-3-5 allows you to do is run really fast and put a lot of pressure on you. So a lot of times when they were getting the TFLs, the tackles for losses, it's because of the pressure, the penetration of the 3-3 stack. Those linebackers were running and gunning, and it was just. And there's very few windows to throw in if you're going to throw. And I love the defense. I ran that defense for 15 years as a defense coordinator. Know the ins and outs. I love it. I love that about it, and I love that McCarthy gets to eat shit now for running his mouth the way he did. Donnie, I already bet TCU plus 13.5. I bet that this morning about 8 o'clock when I got to work. I looked at 4 and it had already gone down to 13 in the same book that I bet the 13.5. So I'm curious to see where this line goes. I think, and this is just knowing Kirby Smart and watching him, I think he's going to try to slow this thing down to a snail's pace and wear out TCU, because they do have a size advantage. I mean, you could see it. They've got a size advantage on everybody. I think he's going to go in and try to wear them out. I don't think, Muschamp's got to do a better job as a coordinator over there for Georgia, because TCU is a better offense than Michigan. So I that's what I'm predicting. I don't think it's going to go over. I think it's going to be under. I think if Georgia can win this thing 21-14, they would be tickled pink doing that. I don't think they want to get in a shootout with Duger because he's a fucking animal, bud. What do y'all think?
I think 13 points is too many for a championship game. I don't care who's on the other side of it.
What'd you say?
I said I think 13 points is too many points for a championship game. I don't care who's on the other side of it. I get it. There's these mismatches in college like this, and it feels like David versus Goliath. But so like going into Saturday, I think a lot of people expected TCU to be like Cincinnati last year, just get absolutely donkey stomped, and they didn't. They did the donkey stomping.
Right.
I think they proved they can play at this level, and I mean I expect a field goal game.
Well, it's a different conference, Donnie? Don't you think? I mean, from where Cincinnati comes from and from where TCU comes from.
It is a completely different conference. The thing that people are looking at, I think, and this is the bookie in me talking or trying to think like the bookies.
Yeah.
They put that number out there to get people to bet on TCU. If you remember earlier in the year, we had the same scenario with Georgia and UT. And when it came out, the same thing happened. 80% of the bets are on TCU, 78% are of the money is coming in on TCU. It'll stay that way. The line might even come down to 11.5. And then day before, day of, expect all the money to come rolling in on Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
It's, if you look at conference versus conference, so far we've seen, that division has not done well. I mean, Baylor gets beat by Air Force. Let's see. Arkansas beats Kansas. Texas Tech did beat Ole Miss. Oklahoma got beat by Florida State.
Texas Tech won.
Yeah. Beat the
Overall,
shit out of Ole Miss.
Kansas State, which was the number 2 team, got obliterated by Alabama. And I know it says 45-20, but that wasn't that close. Like
They were the Big 12 champions.
yeah, and they just got raffle stomped. Iowa's the only saving grace in that looks like, out of the Big 10, Big 12 that, they beat Kentucky 21-0. But you're looking at people that have got years and years and years of data and tools, and they're looking at it thinking, how can we get some money in on TCU?
Oh.
And we got to put that number up there so high. I think this is an over game. I do understand the 3-3-5. The big thing that you're going to see against the 3-3-5 is, you go back and look at the box score for Michigan and TCU, and McCarthy did not have a good game. I mean, you take away the one big run from the first play of the game by Donovan?
Yeah.
And he went 22 for 65. That's nothing. McCarthy was 20 of 34 for 343, 2 TDs and 2 picks. And Dugan was 14 of 29, 225, 2 TDs and 2 picks. I can tell you right now that the best, if TCU's smart, they're going to try to do the same thing that Ohio State did to Georgia, and that's gash them in the middle with plays come deep and over the middle, and try to get into them into the secondary that way. The big difference is I don't think that TCU has the Emeka, and they definitely do not have the Marvin Harrison. If Marvin Harrison doesn't go out that game, they probably win. That kid, I know he's got the pedigree from his dad. That kid's a beast. I mean, he doesn't go out that game, and Ohio State probably wins. I mean, he had, in 3 quarters, he had 5 receptions for 106 with 2 TDs. And the big thing is him and Stroud had that connection. When Stroud had to scramble, he knew where to go to get open to make a big play.
So you're telling me OSU is a better team than TCU? If they meet head-to-head, OSU beats the shit out of them. Because you're not giving them a chance against Georgia.
I don't think they beat the shit out of them, but I think they beat them. I think the big difference is I think Georgia had a bad game. They did not play their best game. They didn't run the ball at all very well. I mean, Kenny McIntosh had 5 carries for 70 yards, but he had a 52-yard play. And then Edwards was 8 for 58, but they were behind the whole time. I mean, I say they were behind. They got down at half, and then third quarter they just didn't do anything. So they had to start throwing the ball. So it was a little different game than Georgia's used to playing. If Georgia gets out ahead, look for them to feed Dejan and Kenny and just turn and hand him the ball, and then leave Stetson for the play action and going down the middle, over the middle with Arian Smith and Kenny McIntosh out of the backfield.
I want TCU to shock the fucking world.
I mean, it's a great Cinderella story, and everybody's going to be on it because Book It with Trent's got it and all that. But at the end of the day, you put helmet to helmet,
I mean, so why even play the game then?
Well, we've been saying so.
Let's just ship Georgia the Natty and be done with it.
Well,
I mean, I told you at the start of the year they were going to win the national championship.
Well, my thing is that's been the story with TCU all year long. Everybody said the same thing. What you said is a repeat of the previous 13 weeks. They're not better. I mean, it's a nice Cinderella story, but they're not good enough to beat this team. They're not good enough to beat that team, yet they keep beating these teams. And then they go with Michigan. Michigan's, their top team. They beat OSU. They've got everything. This is going to be a fucking runaway. They don't have the tools. And now it's the same thing with Georgia. You don't have the tools. I'm with you. It's a great Cinderella story, but how much does TC? I really think, Donnie, and I'm going to pick on you for a little bit. I really think if TCU wins the national championship, on Monday, you're still not going to be satisfied, and you're going to say something like, "Well, that
No.
team didn't do a very good job. TCU just got lucky." Am I
You know what
right?
I'll say that TCU came out and played the game that they had to play to beat Georgia and win the national championship. There's not a chance that they can't do it. If you go back and look at the 80s and 90s teams where there was a lot more parity than there is now, and there was those Oklahoma Notre Dame and Miami Notre Dame and Miami Oklahoma games, the best team didn't always win. Who wanted
Penn
it more?
State.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you had teams that wanted it more. Now, Georgia may come out and fumble. They've already got a national championship. They may not want it as bad. And TCU definitely wants it. They're coming in big chip on their shoulder, underdog of the year, Cinderella story. They're Cincinnati last year, but with a better team.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like TCU might never end up back here. They go out there and they just bust them motherfuckers in the mouth for 60 minutes. That's all it takes.
Have you gone position by position and looked at one versus the other?
No, I haven't.
And compared one to the other. Now I know. Now, if once you get to the bench, a whole different story. We all know that because Georgia's got first round draft picks that have only had 3 or 4 snaps all year.
I think TCU has the better quarterback.
100%. 100%. Stetson Bennett is great for that Georgia team. Stetson Bennett would be great for Alabama. He's a great program quarterback. I believe that. Plus, he's 42 years old. He's an 8th year senior. It's he's got a lot left. But no, I'm with you, dude. This kid, this Duger. I wish I could get his name right. He deserves that respect. But the kid is a gamer. He's a winner. Like this rising kid. This rising kid's down 7 now because Penn State happened to find the end zone somehow. This rising kid for Utah is another one. Dude, you want to go into war? You want to get into a foxhole with somebody? Get this rising kid or Duger for TCU. He's amazing. Guys, I'm betting. I bet him at 13.5. TCU at 13.5. I'm not believing in the Cinderella story anymore. This is a good fucking ball club. It's a good offensive line. It's a good the 3-man front they have. They're actually good. 2 deep. They got six down there, and really, those are outside linebackers playing the D line, with the exception of the defensive end of the short side of the field. He's a fucking beast himself. But these guys are built for speed, built on speed, and I don't think this is a fluke. I'm gonna eat crow for what I said at the beginning of the year. I thought they were a fluke, but I mean, I'm sorry, I can't just keep going. Well, maybe this is a great Cinderella story. It's a good fucking football team. They've beat some good fucking football teams, and they're fixing to face one of the best football teams in the national championship. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm hoping for a good game. But I'm a believer. Whether they win or lose, I think TCU is the number 2 team in the nation, hands down, bar none. End of story for me.
Donnie, gun to your head. Who you taking? Who you take? What? Or I'm sorry, gun to your head. What spread are you taking right now?
Probably
Georgia. Georgia up to what?
9.5. Gun to my head. Like,
I don't like it there. I like it at least 10.5.
Well, gun to my head right now. I mean, I thought
no. I'm talking. I was talking about like the spread's 13 right now. What are you taking?
I thought the spread would come out at 10.5. I really did. When it came out at 13.5, I almost jumped on it, but I started looking, and granted, I'm still sick. I just woke up, see it. I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of points. And I started looking at the money and what's coming in, and I'm like, ooh, this looks eerily similar to that Georgia-Tennessee game we saw earlier this year, and we know how that ended up. I mean, you may not. We talked about that game to the nth degree, because it was such a crazy game. It was number 1 versus number 2, and
ended up being one of the most boring games of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, it turned out to be the most boring game of the year, but it was a 14-point spread. Yeah. And it was supposed to be like 8. So, it when I see things like that, the analytical part of me, or the trying to think like a bookie part of me, says, something's fishy. Is this a reverse line? Is this, let's hold off. I can always buy it up to 13.5 again if I want to. But something just seems weird about it. I think the over is the big play right now. It's getting a ton of hits, ton of money. And the reason why is because both of those games went so far over. If you look at the trend this year, I think we're at 81% of the games have been over. Tulane USC was over, LSU was over, Mississippi State was under. But overall, I mean, most of the games have been, I think, so Saturday, every game was over except for Iowa, Kentucky. And then Friday, every game was over except for Tennessee and Maryland, North Carolina State. So, and Maryland, North Carolina State was close because it was 40 and they got 20. Well, no, it wasn't close either. It was 40 and 28. But every other game was over. And Thursday, same way. Every game was over.
I'm telling you what, guys. I'm telling you like I did last time, and I'm going to fucking stick my foot in the ground goddamn again. And y'all laugh all you want. I don't give a fuck. If this game goes over, TCU wins the ball game. If the game goes over.
I agree with that.
If the game goes over, TCU fucking wins. Duger is better than Stetson Bennett. Hands down, he's going to get it done. If the game's under, Donnie, if it's a smash mouth, pow, 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 Georgia's got way too much in the tank on the sidelines. It's just not going to be any good. It's going to be a 7-8 yard drive, and then it's going to get fucking boring, and our millennial vampire is going to fall asleep in the national championship. You know what I mean?
The play of the day on the 4 games was the LSU Purdue under. It had 32% of the bets and almost 70% of the money. Under 54.5, and LSU scored 63. Like, they just came out and decided to make a statement. Now, is that going to happen in a national championship game? No, not necessarily. But the thing that you'll see.
Well, LSU played out of their ass because half of them are going to go to jail here in about a week.
Well, that's not the point. I think the thing you'll see in this game is one of two things is going to happen. Georgia's going to get up, or TCU is going to get up. I don't think it's going to be a neck and neck game. I think it'll be a 10-point game within the first half, maybe even the first quarter. And then the other team is going to kind of bend to the will, just like we saw in the other 2 games, and start doing things a little more risky. And when that happens, those tend to make those bigger scores happen. Now, is that Georgia or TCU? I don't know. But I think either team has the ability to do it.
I think this game's going to be a lot more competitive and better than people are anticipating.
Yeah. I'm going to bet TCU. I bet them at 13.5, and I'm just going to stay there and see what happens come Sunday when all the money starts pouring in and all the good stuff starts happening. We're going to have an emergency podcast, hopefully live this time on fucking YouTube. Tristan, and we can go ahead and figure out where all the money is and do a real podcast and tell everybody what we're really doing. But I'm with TCU, dude. I couldn't help it. I could not help it. I had to put $200 on TCU money line plus 400. Plus 400. They don't suck. They don't.
What did it pay? 600.
No,
for the national championship.
No, dude. You put 200 on it.
Pays 800.
It paid
200 pays 800. 200 pays 800 if they win.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm most likely come Monday. I'll probably put like 100 on it just because. What am I gonna do? Bet Georgia? Fuck no.
Well, guys, there's a lot more to come. I know there's a lot more to come. Real quick, I want to hit 2 things. The referee in college football is fucking horrible. It's caught up to the NFL.
It's horrible everywhere.
It's just really, really bad. With that being said, everybody said, well, the game would have been taken a different turn, would have been different if they didn't overturn that touchdown for Michigan. But then the next play, Michigan fumbled. That wasn't the referee's fault. So give me a break. Cry me another river. You can't do that. But yes, the refereeing is dog shit all the way around. I don't know what's going on. I think they need to get rid of the TV. I mean, they're not a. It's bad all the way around. I just think it's horrible. And then also, if you sit out like the Dijon Robinson for Texas, I think.
Yeah, Bijan.
If you sit out, Sark, be a man and leave his ass at fucking home.
Yeah.
This is me. This is Coach. This is the real game now. You want to hear it? Here it is. I know he helped you win games. He helped you get to the bowl game. All this stuff. And if it weren't for him, you wouldn't have won those games to get there. I get it. But if he's not going to play in this game because he wants to sit out to get ready to work on his 40-yard stance for the combine, to work on his shuttle run or whatever the fuck he wants to do, then leave him at home. He doesn't get the sweat. He doesn't get the food. He doesn't get all that shit. Leave him at home. If you're not going to fucking play, leave him at home. Fuck him. That's just the way it is. If you're going to be a part of the team, be a part of the team. If not, leave him at home. I think, Sark, you suck. And there goes Rising off the field. What happened to him?
I'm trying to find out. He got hurt, though, apparently.
But I think that's bullshit. I think that needs to be a rule. If you're not going to be in the game, if you're going to sit out for whatever fucking reason, then stay home.
I would agree with that because you set out was for selfish reasons. I mean, just be honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to do it, then get out. I mean, these guys get like thousands of dollars of swag for going. Like the Rose Bowl, these guys, they got 72-inch TVs each. Each one got a 72-inch TV. And there's a fucking pick right there. Rising goes out, and I'm going to lose this bet. Anyway, okay. Enough of college. Real quick, NFL. Tonight, let's go tonight. Joey B, my boy.
We're going to do that on this pod. Oh, okay.
Because he's on right now, right? Or he plays tonight.
Oh, no, I didn't know we were going to do it all in one podcast. That's cool. All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
What do you think, Bubba? Talk to me. Somebody say something. I know everybody on our Discord loves the Bills.
Bills
Not
Nation.
me.
Bills Nation. And the reason that I say it is the Bills just have a better defense. I mean, that's all there is to it. They're also getting the bets are pretty even, 48-52. 52 are on the Bengals, but the Bills are getting more money. The over looks like it's the best play. But I think the Bills defense is just a little bit better it's considerably better than the Bengals. I mean, I think overall the Bengals have just as many threats, just as much on the weapon side, but Bills have better secondary and definitely a better pass rush.
You like the over?
I like the over.
We got.
I think this ends up as like a 35-24 type game.
You can get Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown score plus 100. And Marathon's on that already for 200.
I don't like any of those. Anytime somebody gives me one of those now, I'm done. I'm not falling for that crap anymore. They know things that I don't know.
Chase loves this one. Joe Mixon over 25.5 receiving yards.
Don't like it.
Don't like it.
He sprained his pinky. He can't catch. They know things. They get things that we don't get, and they pump these up to get money. I was a sucker for them forever, and I would track them this year, and they hit it like 37%. Like, I'm done.
What's the line on this game? Somebody give me the line.
2.5.
Yeah,
Bills 2.5.
Bills 2.5. What's the money line? What's it pay?
145. I've got the money line.
What about for Joey B? You know I'm betting Bengals.
I'm on Bengals too.
What about Joey B? 122. Nope. And plus 2.5.
Plus 122?
Yep.
Okay, good.
It's closing in on a pick 'em. I mean, the game is it's going to be a good game, I think.
I think it will be too.
Okay.
like a
Talk to me about
potential
this weekend,
overtime
guys.
game.
I did not make a single bet Sunday. I was hurting so bad from the weekend. I slept through half of them, and then I went and visited Mama, and she fed me, and I fell asleep over there. What went on this weekend? How'd your bets go?
I did. I killed the 1 p.m. slate. But then I didn't bet the 4 p.m.s until like I live bet Vikings at like 20.5. That was a fucking mistake. And then I also live bet Justin Jefferson. That was a fucking mistake. I hit the Niners in overtime. I ended up pretty much just betting to feed the addiction yesterday.
So tell me, you love the NFL. How in the hell does one of the best teams in the league lose to the Saints by 10
I
at home?
fucking called it too.
At home, how does it happen? Tell me it ain't rigged by telling me it ain't rigged.
Jalen Hurts didn't play either though.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Minshew had a crappy game.
To be
I
expected.
say crappy.
Though.
He was 18-32 for 274, but it was all they just could not get in the end zone. There was a lot of games that went like they should have, and there was a lot of games that did not.
The Saints
I did
defense is
fairly
no
well.
fucking slouch.
Yeah, no, I did fairly well. I had the Bears Lions over. I had the Chiefs Broncos over. I did have the Dolphins. They lost.
That's another one, Donnie. That's another one, Donnie. I'm gonna let you finish, but
they didn't
the
have
Chiefs
Tua.
They didn't have
Broncos.
Tua. They didn't have Tua, and it was in the Patriots. I just thought they would have enough weapons even without Tua, and
No, because then Teddy got hurt too.
yeah, and the pick six is what finished it off. I mean, the last pick six at the end. But I had the Giants. I had the Bucks. I had the Jags big. That was my big bet of the game.
Dude, so Donnie, the Jags, I woke up yesterday morning, right? I was looking at the lines like I always do, and I seen that game and I was like, that's easy money. But the more I looked at it, I talked myself off of it. I didn't play it at all. But that was a fucking mistake. It was free money.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those things that you can easily talk yourself out of it. I did take the Vikings. I thought they would show up. They did not. I also took the Rams, and they never showed up either. Baker had his worst day, and then I finished it off last night with the Steelers. So it was a pretty good weekend for me. No complaints.
I had a really
I did not
good
hit
Saturday.
any of my touchdown scores. Like,
All right, let's go. Let's talk about the great Mahomes. I keep saying this. This is not a great team. They do just enough to win, and this is what catches them in the ass in the end.
They got to get rid of Spagnuolo.
I mean, 27-24 against the Broncos?
The Broncos have a good defense.
Oh my God! Here we go. Okay,
they do. I'm not making excuses. They do have a good defense, though.
But if you're going to be the best team, you're 13-3 or 12-3.
This isn't no. So I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna listen to me. This is the difference between the NFL and college football. The Chiefs aren't Alabama. The Chiefs can lose any fucking Sunday. Any fucking Sunday.
Well, then why are they a great team?
The Texans could beat the fucking Chiefs, like they almost did. So it's not. This isn't. I think that's where you struggle with the NFL because, like, the great teams, they can lose any fucking day.
How can you lose any fucking day to a guy that's a head case on the other side that's only won 3 games all season long? And now they're going to come beat the best team in the league?
Russell Wilson was one of the best quarterbacks in the league for the last 10 years. He's just not. I
don't give a shit about the last 10 years. My first wife was good to me. My first 2 years of marriage. Fuck, that's 30 years ago. What you going to do for me today, big boy?
No.
Come on now.
I'm just telling you, like, I think I think that was a great. I needed that from you. It told me everything.
What? What did it tell you?
Because I think you look at the Chiefs like you look at Georgia and Bama. This isn't fucking the NFL. This isn't college football. Like, these dudes can lose any day. It's just that simple.
If you want to look at some stuff coming into next week, the best bet on the board right now is the Chiefs Raiders over 53. That is going to be a slam dunk. Those two teams hate each other. They always score a lot of points. That'll be 56 or 57 by the time game starts. So,
I think Rick wants to keep talking about the Chiefs.
Well, that's why I brought it up. I mean, they are literally hitting the over at like 70% this year. So bet the over on that one, because
but they are one of the worst teams in the league at covering. I quit taking them.
But the Bengals have no chance tonight against the Bills, because the Bills have the best defense in the league, and they've got the best quarterback in the league.
The best defense in the league is not the Bills.
I thought you just said they were.
I think they have a better defense.
Oh,
Bengals are going to win tonight.
Not the best.
I got you.
I mean, Philadelphia has the highest.
Just remember,
defense.
I was with you. Don't you fucking come here talking about y'all, because there wasn't no fucking y'all.
Philadelphia has the highest ranked defense.
They're frauds.
But San Francisco is second, Jets are third, Washington, and then the Bills.
If I never see another professional Philadelphia team the rest of my life, I will be a happy man. I don't give a shit.
They're frauds. They'll be done first round of the playoffs.
So, what's the score? What's the score tonight, Donnie? You got the Bills, what, 30-28?
I got it coming in at like 35-27.
Pretty close, 35-27. So, 50.5. So, I'll just bet the over.
24-20.
24-20? You're on the under, huh?
No, I haven't placed a bet, but I mean, if I was going to, yeah. Primetime games just go under. I mean, that's just what it is.
Is that right?
A lot of primetime games do go under. I mean, that's a true statement. The difference is, if you go back and look at, what's happened.
Don't get me wrong. Both these teams could score 35 tonight, easy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not discounting that fact. It's just a trend.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. Like, you got to look at, like, the Bengals are going over 50 points in like 70% of their games, and the Bills are going over 50 points in 70% of their games. So, you figure
exactly why it's going to go under.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh!
Usually those games that go under, like Chicago and the Jets and New England.
I didn't watch the game. Tell me what happened to my 49ers. Why did it go into overtime against the lowly Raiders?
Jarrett fucking Stidham showed up.
Really?
He had 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah. No, he had a great stat line. It was 23 of 34 for almost 400 yards. He did have 3 TDs. He threw 2 late picks. But you're Mr. Nobody, 22 of 35 for 234, 2 TDs and a pick. He started looking human.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he's relevant. He's not irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well, when he gets to taste of playoff football, he's going to get punched in his fucking mouth.
Without him, they wouldn't have gotten to the playoffs. What?
They also didn't have Debo, so, that's a big thing.
I got you.
They ain't had Debo in weeks.
Yeah.
They had what?
They haven't had Debo in weeks.
Damn.
Devontae showed his ass, though. You want to talk about showing somebody's ass? Mike Evans, where has he been all year? Jesus.
He's an Aggie. He's an Aggie. He took a break just like the rest of the team over here.
He showed up at the wrong fucking time for me.
What?
In 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I know. I know it was the wrong time for you, Tristan, but man, that was crazy.
Take Evans out of that game, Panthers blow him out.
Oh, yeah, but every one of those touchdown passes was
Bombs.
him and Brady connecting on an over-the-top play, which they have not done all year long.
And it was Keith Taylor at corner on the first one, which he's been trash all year. And then CJ Henderson gave up 2 with piss poor fucking effort. It was awful. It was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, his touchdown receptions were 63, 57, and 30. That's crazy.
Literally, Brady just dropped back. He loaded up, let it fly. It was easy. They were walk-ins, every one of them.
And that's the crazy thing that we haven't seen all year. We haven't seen Brady take that chance, throwing it downfield. It's like he was trying to force it in the middle. And with Godwin and Evans, God, let those guys take a play.
I mean, the Panthers third and fourth string cornerbacks were starting. So
Sure.
I mean, and I'm not making excuses, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you just haven't seen that from
But
Brady
see,
this year. I mean,
and
34
see,
45, 432.
now I'm gonna go.
Jesus.
Now I'm gonna go into you as like the analytical side of me as a Panthers fan. So we go out. So J.C. Horn breaks his wrist against the Lions. That sucks. So they go out and they sign Josh Norman, a familiar face, whatever. But then you get into where like the first two bombs to Mike Evans, we weren't losing the game. We were still up by 5.
Yeah.
So then you don't make a change at corner and put Josh Norman back there. Like, it can't get worse. Like, you're already getting fucking torched. And so in the presser, they asked Steve Wilkes, they were like, why didn't y'all play Josh Norman more? And he was like, well, we didn't want to put our corners in stressful, or we didn't want to put Josh in a strained situation. Motherfucker, they were already strained.
Yeah.
But it couldn't get worse. Just fucking put Josh on Mike Evans and tell him to lock his ass down. Like, do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're a cornerback. You're used to playing on an island. I mean, it's like,
So
cornerbacks are literally the most stressful position in the NFL outside of quarterback.
Yep.
Because I mean, quarterback, you win or lose the game, but corners you're either savior or burnt.
okay, so we're gonna do the Pick'em show later, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know, whenever we can, Tristan, because I know you're going somewhere. But really quick, I want to hit this because I want to what y'all have told me, the information you've given me today, or the feedback of what you've told me today. I want to go. I want to go to the wild card week, or what is it? Saturday.
Yeah, we got 2 Saturday games and then 4.
We got 3 Saturday games and Sunday games. So you got the Chiefs and the Raiders, Titans and Jags, Ravens and Bengals. KC minus 9.5 against the Raiders. So I should go ahead and take the Raiders because anybody can beat any. And the what's that quarterback Stidham did pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So we expect that and they're at home. So and the Chiefs are barely going to do enough to win. So give me the Raiders plus 9.5. Jacksonville minus 6.5 at home against the Titans. Do you still don't have Henry? Do you?
No, he'll play.
He'll play.
He's gonna play.
He could have played last week. It was literally a rest him for the Jags.
Okay. Give me the Titans plus the 6. Give me the dogs, except for my Bengals. My minus 7 against the Ravens at home. Give me the Bengals. Am I wrong?
I think
No.
the Bengals. I think the Bengals, if they lose tonight, they sit Burrow and they sit Mixon. And
But see,
they sit Chase.
you can't take
Because they
it
have no
to
reason to
that
play.
extreme. But you're not on the wrong thought process here. I would expect the Raiders to cover against the Chiefs simply because the Chiefs are one of the worst teams this year against the spread. It's that simple.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they do just enough to win.
Yes, they're them and the Bucks. They're the 2 worst teams in the league against the spread.
Atlanta's favored against the Bucks at home, minus 3.
I mean, the big thing you've
Brady's
got this
probably
week,
not going to play.
The big thing you've got this week is the Bills are playing for home field advantage tonight. They win this, they have home field advantage. Because if all things are equal and the Chiefs lose or win and the Bills win or lose, we expect them both to win. So they get home field advantage. Other than that, there's no real reason to keep playing these, crazy things like you don't sit your best guys.
Next week would be a week to not bet NFL.
Yeah.
See,
there's going to be some
Wow.
things to bet. I think
Okay,
there's
well-
definitely going to be some things to bet.
Yeah, because so now you're telling me next week would not be to me it would be just the opposite because you're telling me that these studs, once they get the home field advantage and they get the win, they're going to be sitting these people out. So why not take the dogs?
Sure. You can find angles that you can hit, but too risky. I wouldn't do it. I'm probably going to lay off, honestly, on some games.
Well, it's crazy that some of the bets that we have now happened. I think there's going to be a lot of games that I will not bet. Like, I don't think you bet the Bucks next week.
Oh,
They clinched their division.
I'll tell you who I am betting. That's the Packers.
You're betting the Packers next week?
Yes.
Who are they playing? The Lions?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a tough game.
It is a tough game. I love the line. I love the Packers though.
Minus 1.5.
Do y'all? I wanna remind you too. Do y'all remember who I had in our Super Bowl picks?
No.
No.
Chiefs and Packers.
Hmm.
The Packers are heating up, baby.
I'll have to go back and look at that. I don't even remember mine.
Yeah, make sure you bring that up. Find that somewhere, and we'll talk about it.
I'll find it. I already know where it's at. I'll find
Yeah,
it.
we'll talk about it next time.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. I think we're good right now. We're just pissing into the wind with these other the
Let's go watch some
NFL.
football.
If they're gonna
NFL started.
sit and all that, yeah. NFL starting. Taking the over
And Penn State scored. Fuck you.
again.
Yep.
Shut up, Tristan. You don't know anything. All right, we're taking the over. You got Buffalo, correct, Donnie? And
Yes, I
me,
do.
Tristan, we've got the Bengals.
Yes, sir.
All right, so good luck,
Rock and roll.
everybody, betting. Guys, I appreciate everybody listening up. Till next time, this is your coach and Donnie and Tristan, the real game. We'll see y'all next time. Hope everybody cashes. If not, stick around. We'll be around later. Adios.